If you have children who've now returned to school, I hope it's all gone smoothly despite the changes created by the pandemic. The start of a new term can be difficult for many children at the best of times, but studies suggest that anxiety levels among young people doubled during lockdown. A school in Essex has become one of the first in the country to test a new mobile phone game to help children deal with anxiety.
Until recently, this was one of Maisie's worst nightmares. Starting a huge secondary school, getting lost, not having a mum there to pick her up. Hello, you two.
Hello.
Take a seat, it's all set up for you. Her anxiety came on a few years ago.
I went gymnastics for a long time, and my dad sometimes was late, but I'd never really bother about it. But then just one day it just come in my head like, what happens if he never picks me up again? I started crying before I went to school. I wouldn't get out of bed.
She then stopped going to friends' houses, sleepovers, anything like that. Even my mum and dad's house she wouldn't go to. We did see the GP, but Maisie wasn't severe enough to get any treatment for her anxiety. You ready?
Yep.
Keep taking deep breaths.
Maisie's new school is one of the first in Britain to offer pupils a new digital therapy. Funded by the NHS and approved by the regulator, it's a game designed by clinicians, teachers and academics. You pick a character and take on different challenges. It's called exposure therapy, where it recreates the things making you anxious, be it going to a new school, making friends or flunking a test.
And take a moment to think about how you're feeling as you make a mistake.
Oh, we've got 4 out of 9. We need to be aiming for at least 6 out of 9, okay? So if you practice really hard at home, we could definitely improve that score.
The big takeaway here is the learning that it wasn't that bad after all. Those young people who are at the low to medium end of the spectrum of anxieties are the ones who receive little to no support. So our game is really intended to be used by those young people who don't meet that high risk threshold. And just looking at the statistics, almost 70% of young people who are experiencing anxiety related disorders get no access to evidence-based treatment. So this game really is for them.
Hello, Charlotte.
Hello, Richard.
Busy time for you,
Yes,
I would imagine.
very busy,
Long
yes.
days. Charlotte Berry runs pastoral care at Billericay and helped design the game.
We've got a full range of mental health issues, sometimes presenting by the time that they're 14. And if you don't intervene early with those, they can then become much more complex in later life.
So how did you feel during that challenge?
Maisie hoped the game would ease her fears about starting secondary school. So the big question, obviously, is do you think it worked for you?
I think it worked because when I was doing all the challenges, it made me feel like, oh, I know what's happening now.
I know for a fact that if there wasn't the app, she would have been crying the night before, if not a few days before. She might not have. She'd been crying in the morning, all the way to school. And, I'm really proud of her, actually, because I know that she would have really been quite bad with her anxiety before.
You've been so brave.
The developers say the treatment should soon be available through doctors and many schools across the country. Richard Westcott, BBC Look East, Billericay in Essex.